Hello YouTube, and welcome to a brand new tutorial. So last tutorial I showed you how to install NetBeans. So we've got it installed. I showed you the basics of it, but now we're going to go in depth to it. So if you haven't got NetBeans installed, you can either go and watch my other tutorial or download it and install it. It's really easy to do. So the first window when we start it up is this, what we get. So the first thing you should see is start page here. And all that is it's basically its welcome screen. This is what you do, blah blah blah. You can either untick it there to show it on startup if you don't want it to show or anything. I just keep it on anyway. So the next window you have, or should have, is projects here. If you don't have that, go to window and choose projects there. Projects will show all the projects you are currently working with. Now, unlike most projects, like Unity, if you ever used it or something like that, it'll only open one project at once. But stuff like Visual Studio, NetBeans and Eclipse will open up multiple projects, but you can't edit them together, so you can't like open one project and link it to another one. They're completely separate, so it's just easier to work with. It's kind of a file list if you wish. You will see you don't have any there, or you shouldn't have any there. The one I've got there is just my college project where I've got to work on it. It's a fail at the moment, but still, it's getting there. And everything else we don't really need to worry about for now, so you can just ignore all them. So first thing we're going to do is create a new project. So I'm going to go File, New Project. And you'll see here, it'll say which type of project do you want. So we're going to choose Java, and we're going to choose Java Application. And you're just going to click Next. And what this will do is basically create a brand new Java application with a pretty much blank script, so we can start. So project name, we'll just call this YouTube Tuts. I want a Z to be cool, will be cool. So it's going to save it in C, my stuff, programming Java. That's where I want it, because that's where I save all my programming stuff. Create the main class, I'm going to untick that. So don't tick create main class, and I'll explain to you in a minute why. And then we're just going to click finish. So once it's created, it'll create it here, and you'll see we get some files. So if we open up the source packages, you'll see we've got nothing but that one thing. Now if we had kept that main class on, it would have been stored in here. And if you don't know what a class is, don't worry about it. Just think of it as just a script for now. So a class is the same word for a script, just for now. I will explain it in future. So what we're going to do inside source packages is right click on source packages, choose new, and choose JFrame form. Not JPanel, JFrame. And what this will do is create our window. If you had created main class in there, you'd have to still create this JFrame window, but you'd have to delete that main class, so it's just taking out a step. Otherwise the program will load your frame first. So in here we'll call it main. Just main. You can call it whatever you like. So if you're making a game, call it main menu or main game, level 1. I'm just going to call it main. I don't know, just call it main. And then it is highly recommended do not place Java classes in the default package. That's why we didn't right click on default package. So we're going to click finish. And you'll see it'll go blah 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 blah, create a window for us, and it'll save a hell of a lot of coding. So it automatically placed it in there for us, which is what it's supposed to do, so don't worry about that. But when it loads, you should see we get a on-screen GUI, graphical user interface, where we can begin designing. So this is what we get. We've got a window, and if you've used a Visual Studio before or something else, you'll see it looks a lot different because it's not got the main toolbars. Don't worry about it. Everything you see here is literally the window. So we have main.java, which we called it, which is the class if you wish. And then we get a palette, which is a toolbox basically for everything we want. So we've got labels, buttons, stuff like that, really easy stuff. And then our projects has been moved down below. Don't worry about it, that's fine. And over here we've got properties too. So the thing we're going to start with is we're just literally going to click run. And hopefully click OK on that. It's basically going to set it. Hopefully it should show the blank window. There, so we've got success, so we know that bit's worked fine. So as you can see, this entire grey bit here is now surrounded by this border and toolbox. That's what we want. And the little icon there just shows it's a Java application. So what we're going to do is put our details inside this box here, which you can move. Standard window, you can make it, minimize it, you can maximize it, you can cross it off. Easy. Now this window what's popped up is a very important window, the output. This will show whether your build was successful. That means when you click the play button, it builds all your code and basically says, right, run it. If it does not build, it'll say error, blah blah blah, and it'll show you the errors, what's wrong with it. So that's a very important section. It will pop up if there's anything there, but if you click off it will disappear. It's just right here, look. If you want it on, just click the little window there and it should stay on. Easy, right? So let's start. So I'm going to go and grab a text field right here, and I'm going to paste, in fact I'm going to put it here, just right at the end. And you'll see you've got lines on. These horizontal lines and vertical lines are just aligning. So as you can see, when I drag it out, it aligns it. That's all it is. So what I'm going to do also is drag a label and put it right at the beginning here. And I'm going to right click and choose properties. And you'll see it'll come up with this window here. If you don't like that window, you can go to this side window here, and it should bring these properties up. There we are. So if we find text right at the top, there, JLabel1. What we're going to do is type the text in which it says. So at the moment it says JLabel1. So let's change it to username. There. So it now says that. So if we drag JTextField1 across and put it up, it looks like a standard username box. So I'm going to take the text out of the text box and click enter. So now it's blank. Perfect. So let's do the same. So I'm going to click and hold Control or Command and click on the other one. Then I'm going to right click, copy, in fact right click duplicate, that's even easier. Boom. So I'm going to rename this one to password. Password. Done. Easy, right? So I'm also going to drag out a button, just right in the middle, and I'm going to put the text as submit. So, we're going to go into something different now. We need to actually name these boxes. So if you click, say, the button then, you can see at the top it says J button 1, and it just means Java button 1. That's all it means. But we need to rename this. So instead of everything being called Java button 1, imagine if you had I don't know, the example I had earlier, a hospital record thing with lots of buttons and labels. When you're coding them, you don't want them all to be code JButton1 for, say, the submit button. So we need to change it. So if you right click and click change variable name, right here you can change what it is. So it's currently called JButton1, let's call it submit button and click OK. So now, if we click off, click back on, submit button, perfect. Next to it, it shows what type it is, called JButton. Easy. So I'm going to do the same. So for username, right click, change variable name, and we'll call it username field. Field for text field, username field, it works. So same for password, right click, change variable name. If you're on a Mac, I don't know how you write, I think you hold Command/Control and click on it. That should do the same. And we'll call this password field. Now, sometimes you don't really need to worry about the labels, but in this case, it's good practice to actually rename the labels too. So I'm going to call it username label. I'm just going to copy the word label and do the same for password. So password label. Boom. And I'm going to click our form and actually drag it up so it's resizing it. Just to there. So now we've got a neat little form. And these aren't aligned, that'll get annoying. There we are, they're aligned now. So, what we're going to do is when we click this submit button, we want to change some text somewhere. So I'm going to drag another label out and put it right here. And we'll change the text to nothing. Oops. Nothing. When I grab it, there. And we're going to right click. I've lost it. Probably right click it first and choose J variable name. Call it output. And then get rid of whatever it says. The label will still be there somewhere. It is still there, but don't worry about it. We're going to change it by code. So I'm going to go into submit by double clicking it. There. And you should get lots of this code. Don't worry if it scares you. It does look a bit scary with all its lines and everything. All it basically is everything with these slash stars are notes. That's what someone's wrote to tell you how to use it. So to change this template, choose Tools, Templates. If we go to Tools, Templates, there, we could change whatever it is, but we're not going to. And it carries on. So the author is admin. That's my username. So it shows you who built this application. This one, I'm not going to explain it, but all this basically does is creates the window and the buttons. So if you want to get back to your code, it's source, design, design. History, I don't actually use myself, so you don't have to, but design, source. So you can go back like that. So, submit button, action performed. We're going to get rid of this add your handling code here. If your brackets are up here or anything, don't worry about it, it'll work the exact same. NetBeans won't let you change it. Don't worry about it. I had to go into the manual settings, which I can't remember, but I'll put a tutorial where that is, because I didn't like it, but yeah. So in here, we're first going to do the basic, and we're going to change whatever this output's text is, and we're going to set it to "you are now logged in." Really easy. So we're going to type the name of that text box. So we're going to type, label, output, dot, and this is where you change the text. So what property do we want to edit? So we've clicked on whatever we've clicked on, and we're in here. So if we go set, so then we're setting something, and then text, you can actually say what it is. So output dot set lowercase text capital T, and then in brackets you put speech marks inside and put you are logged in. And then after, put a semicolon. A semicolon will go on every single line unless it's got squiggly brackets near it like this. So when you see an if statement later, it doesn't have a bracket. Voids, functions don't have semicolons, and classes don't have semicolons. You'll get used to it very quickly, don't worry about that. So output.set text, semicolon. So if we were to save it and click play, please wait, it's scanning, don't worry about that, it's literally scanning our code and saying will it run. So it loads. If we click submit, you are logged in. Woohoo! So now what we want to do is make it scan whatever's in the username box, and if it equals a certain value, or the text is, say, admin or Dan YouTube, then it'll show it, otherwise it won't. So what we can do is just above this output, I'm going to type if in brackets, and then we need to get whatever. See, it's different in Java. If you've ever used C#, you'd type whatever it is equals this. But in Java, it's backwards, which is kind of weird. It took me a while to get it. You've got to put whatever the value's got to be, then you say what's got to equal it. If you don't understand, don't worry. But first, in speech marks, put what you want username to be. So I'm going to say YouTube. Capitals and all. And then after, you'll put dot, and you'll put equals. So just press enter when telesense pops up. And in here, you put what should equal it. So if we type the name of our username, so username field, and then after username field, we're going to put dot, and we're going to type get text. And then after, just make sure you bracket. So whenever you put a bracket, you have to always make sure you have an ending bracket. So right here, open bracket, close bracket, open bracket, close bracket, open bracket, close bracket. So in NetBeans, if you click a bracket, it highlights it in yellow, which is really helpful. So if you click the first bracket, make sure you end it. Second bracket, which is there, end it, third, fourth. And what this will do is set text, set something, and get text, gets it. Basically gets the data. So after this, we're going to press enter, and I'm going to put a squiggly bracket, one of those. And then I'm going to put, after this output, I'm going to press tab to move it across, and then end it. There we are. And it's just good practice to align it, really. That's all it is. It's because if you have, say, like that, for no reason whatsoever, it doesn't look as good as that. Easy enough. So I'm going to press play, and hopefully when we type in YouTube, it says you are logged in. You are logged in, perfect. So last time, we're going to work on our password text box. Really, really simple. So, after the bracket for equals, we're going to press space, and we're going to press our and symbol twice. And this means and. So basically, if YouTube, if username.getText equals YouTube, and we're going to copy all of this and paste it in here. You don't need to put the if. And password, so our password field, dot get text equals is awesome. So if YouTube, if our username equals YouTube and our password field equals is awesome, then it should show you are logged in. And there's a basic login screen basically. It's not how it works. Online ones work as databases and all this stuff, but which we will go into eventually as soon as I figure out how to make the drivers work. But it will work because I've done it at college. It's awesome. So if we click submit, you are logged in. Let's type something else. Submit. Nothing. So I've already gone over the 15 mark. I'll set a minimum of 20. We'll also make an error message. So a good thing about ifs is you can have two states of an if. You can have if, or you can say if this is not true, else do this kind of thing. So you'll understand these because you'll use else a lot because they're really, really good. So if YouTube and password equals that, do that. Else, otherwise is a good name too for it. So we'll type else and then the same brackets. And if you press enter, it creates it for you. Else, then we're going to grab output and paste it in there. And what do they usually say when you get your password wrong? Username or password incorrect. Easy enough. So we click enter, and if we just click submit, username and password incorrect. So as you can see, it stretches off the screen, and that automatically stretches, which is cool, so don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do is go back to my design and just stretch it out a little bit and drag this across, just so it see if it fits on. And you'll see username and password incorrect, YouTube is awesome. Submit. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Please thumbs up if you did like it. It always helps and shows me you want more. We'll be carrying it on by probably loading another form. So you click submit, it's like bam, here's a new form. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.